This month on The Spark, our theme is Motivating Success. We'll learn more about an organization focused on youth with a mission of fun, fitness, and finish lines that's helping to develop the sports of cross country and track in our community. A nonprofit using the power of sports to raise awareness and generate support for literacy programs nationwide. And a motivator, coach, and author who's helping students and individuals achieve higher levels of success and happiness. We'll also share a special moment from our Spark Awards 2019.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.
Additional funding for The Spark is provided by Christian Brothers University, Mueller Industries, YMCA of Memphis and the Mid-South, Meriton, United Way of the Mid-South, MyTown Movers, MyTown Roofing, MyTown Miracles, Stuart Lloyd Cohen, Chief Motivation Officer, and by Serves.
Ever been excited by a new idea? Inspired by watching someone lead by example? When we talk about creating change, we start by sharing the stories of everyday heroes making a difference in their own way so we can learn and do the same. This truth is the power behind this show, which is focused on business and community leaders who are leading by example to give back, fuel change, and create new opportunities for the Mid-South. I'm Jeremy Park, and this is The Spark. Their mission is fun, fitness, and finish lines. We're here with the founder and president for Memphis Youth Athletics, Nick Dwyer. And Nick, let's start on your end. Give us a little bit of history for Memphis Youth Athletics.
Yeah, so we started back in 2014 with the help of a friend of mine from Knoxville that has an enormous version of exactly what we're doing here in Memphis, which is just trying to get kids active through the sport of track and field and cross country. So the earlier you can get kids active, the earlier you can counter all the bad stuff that happens down the road from, just being overweight, diabetes, illiteracy, things of that nature. The more confident you are as an athlete, I find that the more confident you are as an academic. So we just try to counter everything as early as possible.
And so you are building up not only the programs, working with the schools, but when you look at the Mid-South overall, I mean, you're really engaging youth at all ages to bring them in,
Absolutely.
offer coaching support, and then obviously the mentorship, the guidance, and even the physical races as well.
Yes, sir. We do it from all ends of the spectrum. So we find it to be important to be a year-round program. The summer is the worst time for kids in terms of going backwards. So we try to keep it running forwards. We got programs that will help them stay engaged in physical activities, from camps to a competitive AAU team that travels along all around the Southeast. So we just try to keep those programs and keep those coaches educated also. We find that's the biggest part of what we do lately, or what we've done lately, is keeping the coaches engaged, keep them educated so that they can become better for the kids. That's the biggest hook for schools and programs, is it's educating the coaches.
Well, let's start there, because you have specific programs to help those coaches to make sure that they know, and there's a huge difference. You think, okay, going out and running and cross country, and it's not as simple as just going out and running. There's a lot of training and technique that goes into that. So helping the coaches better understand the trends, but also the performance, that's a big piece of what you do.
Exactly, and we're teaming up with the University of Memphis, their health science department. They're doing a great job with they have a human performance lab over there now. Daniel Greenwell and also Max Paquette are big components of this, and proponents. They just love to run. They're both track and cross country guys, so they understand the importance of that. But the biggest part of coaching runners is teaching them that everything they do affects running, whether it's your diet, your sleep, actually your education, all these things that stress you. I coach high school kids, and you never know what's going on with them. So coaches got to be armed to counter all of that and handle it, because it's not just running. It's not just go out and hit the ball or kick the ball or just go up and run that hill. There's so much more to running than that. It teaches them a healthy lifestyle. So we arm them with that.
Give us one thing that you think people, from a technique standpoint or just from a coaching standpoint, that you think one of your favorite tips to give runners, or bits of advice that you think might fly under the radar. So what's a favorite tip?
A lot of people are into the small percentages. It's a big thing right now with the Nike percentage shoes. Everybody's going out and trying to get that 1 or 2%. I go for the bigger stuff. I'm not even at a level where I can worry about that. So the biggest tip I tell kids, the hardest thing to get them to do is actually run tall, have good posture. You can watch athletes run up and down the basketball court, the football field, and the first thing I look at is, wow, they're not running tall, which is they're losing so much opportunity for power, for stride length, for cadence, and all those good things. It's literally trying to just get them to be a little bit like this.
Yeah.
And it goes with their confidence too. You get a kid that's not very confident, and he's going to kind of run like this. So it's interesting, it's simple, but I'm a KISS roll kind of guy. So
nice, I like that one. So on your end, talk about, because you have throughout the seasons different programs, so that all throughout the year there's something to engage in for the kids. So talk about going from the winter and then the spring, and then you mentioned the summer. So kind of walk us through a typical year.
Yeah, absolutely. Our year begins in the fall with cross country. We have over 2,500 kids in that program, over 70 schools, and it reaches all the way from West Tennessee to North Mississippi to East Arkansas with that program. That's the biggest net we cast. And then we go into winter. So we've just got done with taking a group of kids to Foot Locker championships over in North Carolina. So that was cool. A lot of kids that never get to travel have done that. That'll then transition into what we call winter camps. So we'll teach kids more about the high jump, the long jump, the hurdles, just how to be a better track athlete, which helps them to be a better athlete in other sports. That transitions then into track. That's our second biggest program. So we have anywhere from 5 to 7 track meets from March to roughly the end of April. Any team can come in. Financial is not a barrier, so we knock that hurdle down right away. We say, look, if you can't afford it, we'll work with you. We waive, we've even stipend coaches. I mean, we've gone as far as buying uniforms and shoes. So, I mean, we knock all the hurdles down, literally, that can keep a team or a child from, becoming part of our program.
Give us, because obviously to underwrite your cost, to be able to scholarship, we need to be able to help and pour in financially. So what are some ways we can help?
Donations. It's simple as that. Memphis is one of the biggest giving, communities in the nation now. We do a great job of lifting up our city and helping each other. So there's community partnerships, there's corporate sponsorships that can go into that. One of the biggest ones that we cannot exist without is Memphis Runners Track Club. We have a tremendous amount of support from, they're in the top 5 in the nation in terms of how big their actual running club is, which they kind of go about it pretty quietly, but we can't exist without that. And you can go to our website, memphisyouthAthletics.org, and you can easily find some information about how you can help us out. Volunteers. There's nothing more valuable than a volunteer, especially one that really wants to be there. And we help high school kids get service hours. We help get service opportunities with junior league and things of that nature.
So go ahead and tell us again, you mentioned the website, but website again, social media, where do we go to learn more and start plugging in?
memphisyouthAthletics.org. And then we've got our Twitter handle, MemphisYouthAth, ATH, and then you can find us on Facebook also, and then Instagram. So. And
then all the programs and everything, the engagements, all right there.
Absolutely,
right?
All wrapped into one website.
Well, Nick, you make it very easy. Appreciate all you do. You do a lot, so thank you very much for coming on the show.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
They're using the power of sports to generate support and raise awareness for literacy programs around our nation. I'm here with the board chairman for Coaching for Literacy, John Wilfong. And Coaching for Literacy, let's start with, before we even dive into the mission and purpose, let's start with literacy and why that's so important. I think it goes without saying in terms of the power of reading, but give us some of the stats and the importance for literacy here in the United States.
Yeah, that's really the way to start, actually, because I think what people are unaware of is the fact that we have so many kids in our country who don't read at grade level. They're not proficient by the start of 4th grade. We know that in our country, 65% of 4th graders are not proficient. We know that in our state, Tennessee, 67% are not proficient. And Jeremy, that's really important, because if a child doesn't read at grade level by the end of 3rd grade, 2/3 of them will be in prison or on welfare at some point in their life. We know that we build prisons in America based on 3rd grade reading levels. We also know that impacts how we live and operate by how much crime is in our neighborhood, how much we pay for health care, how many people can actually have a job. People say if you're going to a job, you're not going to commit a crime. But we also think that that's really important, not just because of those reasons, but because we believe we're all born with a purpose. We're all made in God's image, and we should all have a certain dignity in our life. And if you can't read at grade level, by the end of third grade, we know your course of life is almost set. And so it's a dignity issue that we should all care about.
And I think, too, it's one of those where they say you're learning to read up until that third grade, and then all of a sudden it pivots where you're reading to learn. And so, to your point, that's a very critical age range, but it's a critical grade period to be able to get someone on the right trajectory and make sure and intervene. But to your point, it goes to safety, economic development, workforce development.
That's right.
It covers such a huge bandwidth in terms of why it's so important, that ripple effect for our community.
Yeah.
So dive into the mission of Coaching for Literacy.
So the mission of Coaching for Literacy is to connect every American to the issue of illiteracy in our own community. So really make them aware of the stats we just talked about. Make them aware of, oh wow, I didn't realize that was that, it had so many implications because of that. And now that I know about it, how do I address it in my community? And so we do a lot of programs around that, but we just want the awareness piece of Coaching for Literacy, which is why I'm wearing green, which is what we do. Is so people will understand, oh, I need to be aware of this.
And green is the visible color, and that's where you use all sorts of sporting events, and especially like basketball games and coaches and high-profile athletes. These are certain games and instances where they can raise awareness, raise money. So talk about kind of the how of all this works, because there's a lot to it.
Yeah, so our goal is to make sure that all kids have the fundamental skill they need in life, and that's the ability to read. We help do that by partnering with college basketball teams, and we have partnered with some college football teams, but primarily college basketball. We have a few NBA players that have taken up our cause. But to date, we've done 125 what we would call Fight for Literacy games. We've done them over the last 5+ years with 50 NCAA partner schools. What happens is the coaches wear green, they wear a tie like this, they wear a lapel pin, they wear a wristband, so you'll see the whole coaching staff. Around that, we wrap a social media effort where we bring awareness to the cause, and then fans can participate by donating. And all the money that we raise in every one of those games that we do stays in that local community. So to date, we have funded 90 literacy programs nationwide, over $300,000, and directly impacted about 16,000 kids.
And here in Memphis, there's a special game February 19th. So talk about that partnership with the University of Memphis.
Yeah, we have a great partnership here with the University of Memphis. It started with Coach Pastner when he was here. It carried on with Tubby Smith, and now with Penny Hardaway. A local partner that we have is International Paper. International Paper has become a great partner with us. They sponsor the Fight for Literacy Week that we'll have around that game, February 19th. But they also sponsor 5 other games that we do. But that week, you'll see Fight for Literacy Week around Memphis. Corporations have gotten involved. Last year, we raised over $15,000 that went directly to our local partner, which is Memphis Teacher Residency. This year, we're hoping to expand that. So it's all a build up to February 19th for the Memphis Tigers game.
And to that point, it's raising money, it's raising awareness. People can get the green wristbands. There's a lot that kind of goes into it to locally raise the awareness, but also to engage and be proactive in terms of the physical engagement for helping with literacy.
Yeah, our goal is to do 3 things. It's to help people learn around this whole game, is to help people learn about the problem of illiteracy. One of the ways you can get involved in that, now that you know that, is to go help someone read at grade level. There are so many organizations in Memphis that are going directly into the school, MTR, Rise to Read, all these organizations where you can go spend an hour a week and help a child read. So learn, advocate, donate, those are the 3 things that once you know about that, that's our goal, is to help people think about, wow, okay, this is something I can directly do. I don't have to really be qualified to do it. If I can read, I can go help a child read. So that's one of the biggest things that we hope can come out of this. And then we also want to raise money, because we want to donate this money this week directly to MTR. Memphis Teacher Residency has summer camps. And a summer camp is important because children in lower socioeconomic areas, they have what's called the summer slide. They go home in the summer and they regress. Whereas kids from higher economic levels will go to camp and they'll take trips and they'll read. There's so many books in those homes, and they're not those books in the inner city. And so MTR summer camps allow these kids to maintain and even improve in the summer. And so the money goes directly to that. Your money that you can donate to this will directly affect children in the summer to help them maintain or even advance in the summer.
Well, last question is the easiest, is where do we go to learn more? So website, social media, where would you direct us?
Direct everybody to coachingforliteracy.org. That's our website. There's so many things there that you can find. You can also go to #Fight4Literacy and follow us there.
Well, John, thank you for all you do and for coming on the show. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Jeremy.
The Spark Awards annually recognize and celebrate individuals and organizations that have made outstanding contributions to the community. This year's recipient of the Education Leadership Award was Archie Moss Jr., principal of Bruce Elementary School.
My name is Archie Moss Jr. and I'm the proud principal at Bruce Elementary School. Bruce is one of the 4 schools to integrate in 1961 on October 3rd, those 13 grade first graders. And so every day that I have the opportunity of leading my building as an African-American male is so interesting that I can stand proudly and say that I'm leading a school that originally wasn't designed for me. And so how we've just been able to transform as time has gone on. We look a lot different. We're very diverse still, but again, we're still able to make an impact within not just the school community, but the Memphis community as well. So it's so excited. And I think it's a great honor to be able to lead this awesome and historic school. That was one of the initiatives that I wanted to start, making sure that all my scholars have a bedtime story read to them. Each night is great, but if not, every Tuesday evening, they know Principal Moss is going to be there to read them a story, to try to make sure that we were infusing and creating a culture of reading. We've had numerous gains in math and science at our school, but we weren't seeing the same gains at a fast enough pace as we are in reading, and that's just what our focus is. Just anything to kind of make them engaged in reading outside of school has been amazing. I think it just continued to grow through not just Bruce, but across the district now. The district has now launched bedtime stories after my bedtime stories, so now not only are they getting a bedtime story on Tuesdays with me, but now the district has bedtime stories on Sundays and Thursdays. So I think it's just so amazing that the one small idea that we had at Bruce has kind of grown across the city of Memphis, and now scholars are being exposed to bedtime stories numerous times throughout the course of the week. The Gentlemen's League is an all-male mentorship program that I started to change those perceptions of what we see and what we think of black males. When we turn on the media sometimes, we see all these negative images of what's going on, but I have a school full of positive black boys that are trying to do what's best, that wants to change those perceptions, overcome obstacles, and just challenge those stereotypes. And I think that's what the Gentlemen's League is all about. We have workshops, there's different tutoring, we have book clubs, there's a step team component. So ultimately, it's just an opportunity to make sure that we're supporting our boys and make sure they understand that we believe in them, they can be successful, and there's a community that's going to be centered around you.
Good morning, Bruce Elementary School. Happy Friday, everyone. Again, we're looking forward to having an awesome day today.
I think the biggest thing I want people to really understand about me is, I am the kids I serve. I think I do this work because I see myself and the kids throughout the course of the building each and every day. And so I think it's personal to me. Oftentimes they say, as an educator, it's such hard work, but it really is leading with your heart, making sure that each and every child, no matter where they start, they're going to end further than where they came to us at, and we're going to care for them. We're going to make sure they have everything they need to be successful. Being a 2018 reward school is amazing, but we want to make sure that's something that we continue and make sure we continue to grow our scholars each and every day, because I think that's how we're going to close the achievement gap, to make sure that all of our scholars are on an even playing field when they move forward and matriculate from Bruce.
He's a speaker, he's an author, he's helping us achieve higher levels of success and happiness. We're here with the Chief Motivation Officer, Stuart Lloyd Cohen, and let's start with your story coming to Memphis. Give us a little bit of your history, kind of your past corporate, kind of professional history, and then we'll dive into bringing you to Memphis.
Most of my corporate career was spent in travel and hospitality, and the executive side, marketing and sales, and about 25 years plus. Loved the industry, and I would always take the opportunities to do public speaking whenever I could. Loved it. One-on-one coaching, especially when I finally achieved management level. How could I raise performance? How could I have a more productive team? And then all of a sudden the recession came in 2008, and I was let go. And I wept for 15 minutes. I said, this is my chance. I can pursue entrepreneurialism, which is what I always knew in my gut, I always wanted to do. And just a few years later, I ended up moving from the Northeast to Memphis. And it's tough for a New Yorker to say, living in the Mid-South, what's that like? But I would come here, visit on weekends, long weekends, a week, and I said, I like it here. I love it here. The people, the
and the
culture.
thing that I love about what you did is you started plugging in with your service. And so right off the bat, you started looking for ways to serve and really get to know the people. And I think that was an important piece of you, one, embracing the community, but the community embracing you. And so talk about on your end, stepping in and working with Dr. Sarah Petchnick with Volunteer Odyssey, which ultimately led you to Advance Memphis.
Right, so I didn't know a soul here in the business community, and I really wanted to integrate in the community. And knowing so much about Memphis as a charitable, city, so I would start meeting people. Who do I need to meet next? Who do I need to meet next? I would have 15-minute meetings with people, and everyone welcomed me in. And I met Dr. Sarah, and I was so impressed by the opportunities. And volunteering is something that I always said, I need to do, I should do, I want to do, and I finally did it. And I started to integrate into organizations like Advance Memphis, which was more life-changing for me, I think, than for the men who I worked with as a life champion, understanding everyone has a story. And then on the student level, I learned about MILE, Memphis Institute for Leadership Education. And I'm still involved there, working with students, juniors or seniors, who they have such promise, they have such vision, but there's uncertainty too. And working with them as a coach, guiding them, helping them come to conclusions. Here's where I need to be, here's what I can do to be a good corporate citizen. Mm-hmm. It's so much fun, it's so exciting.
Talk about it, because you speak to a lot of these programs. What are some of the topics that you like to really dive into, both in terms of being an author, but really being a speaker?
Well, I find that everyone needs a little motivating every once in a while. And we've all seen and heard the same old stuff on sales and being successful. I try to give everything a really unique spin, a refreshing perspective. But at the end of the day, what it always comes down to is a foundation of gratitude. We all want. We want this. We have this vision of this. But when we approach everything with a foundation of gratitude, when we take time to look at people, to shake hands, to make to make that bond, that connection, so it's not just the text, it's not just the email. If we can really connect with people, then we can lift each other up. We can raise levels of success and happiness. I love a quote from Zig Ziglar, it's my favorite. Success and happiness, which go hand in hand, are not matters of chance, but of choice. And every morning we wake up, we can make new choices. We can try new things and make it not about us, but if we can help somebody else achieve a little bit more happiness that day, then we feel better about ourselves, and we can be a better beacon for other people too.
Give us one or two other things that put a smile on your face that are just community partnerships and relationships that you have.
Well, what's real fun is when I'm out at a social event, whether I'm at the Orpheum seeing a Broadway show or I'm at the Levitt Shell enjoying some free music, when I see somebody that I've met before, or they've seen me on stage. I did Mem Talks with the Memphis Tourism a couple of years back, and they come up with a big smile. Oh, I remember your speech, you said this, you said that. But I think at the end of the day, it's the one-on-one interactions. When the students that I mentored a couple of years ago, we're still friends. And they share with me their excitement, their achievements, and their challenges. Got a call just a few months ago from my very first student that I mentored through MILE. And he was faced with a big decision, a big challenge. And by nature, a coach, we're not supposed to tell you what to do. We're supposed to help ask questions, guide you, illuminate the path so you can reach that decision and own it. And that made me feel great.
So tell us where we can go to learn more. So website, social media, where can we go?
Well, it's StuartLloydCohen.com. And the reason why I've got the Lloyd in there is because there's so many guys by the name of Stuart Cohen, so I put the middle name in. So I do, yes, keynote speaking, workshops. They come check me out. Social media, I've got a great, I try to be very active on Facebook. I just ran St. Jude, so I posted pictures before and after, of course. You can see the difference. And we can connect in it. And at the very least, let's have coffee, let's make friends. If I can help business-wise, let's see what we can do together.
Well, Stuart, thank you for all you do for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thanks, Jeremy.
Where there's a will, there's a way. Motivation is our willingness and desire to do something. It's the forces that compel us to take action, and it's how we stay focused and achieve our goals, achieve success. As we saw, we're fortunate to have organizations and individuals focused on motivating our youth, our young professionals and adults to get involved in our community, to make physical fitness and health a priority, to focus on education and literacy, and achieve more, not just in business, but in life as well. Success isn't just growing bigger and stronger or having more money, it's being healthier and happier. Thank you to Memphis Youth Athletics for working with our youth with a higher purpose of fitness and fun, to Coaching for Literacy for fighting so hard for literacy and a bright future for our kids, and to Stuart Lloyd Cohen for using his talents to inspire and lift others. The power of this show is spotlighting those who power the good. So thank you for watching The Spark. To learn more about each of the guests, to watch past episodes, and to share your stories of others leading by example, visit WKNO.org and click on the link for The Spark. We look forward to seeing you next month, and we hope that you'll continue joining with us to create a spark for the Mid-South.
Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is honored to serve the Memphis community for over 60 years. We've always focused on supporting our community and believe in promoting the positives, encouraging engagement, and leading by example. Lipscomb & Pitts Insurance is proud to be a presenting sponsor of The Spark.